Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Office Sitter 24/7. My name is Niharika Valia Bhatnagar, and I'm with you with the area of ABFM. Okay. Today, I'm continuing with the area of startup finance. In the last class, we had started with the topic of startup finance, where it has been almost 2-3 classes. So, in all these classes, I've covered this topic in a very extensive manner where we have covered the topic of what do you mean by startup finance, then what are the sources for that, what is the process, and then we have also covered the area of various uh, awards that have been covered in this area. Not only awards, but the schemes and even hackathons and other details as well. The challenges, the schemes that has been introduced by the government. Then we did the portion of the income tax exemptions that has been there. Today I'm continuing with that area of exemptions further and talking about the remaining area. So here comes the next question. We have talked about 56 to 7b earlier as well. 56 to 7b is under OS, that is other sources, which is related to the startups there. Only startups have been allowed to record their shares at a value which is higher than face value, fair value of the goods, not the face value, but the fair value of the particular shares. And there is no further taxation on that, while for others, it is taxable. So we have talked about this particular topic now. So what would be the answer in this case? How is the eligibility for exemption under 57, section 5627B determined for startups? How is it determined, everyone? How is it determined? Is it based upon by random selection? Really? Obviously, when we talk about this area, this point is definitely out of the window. Okay? First is by random selection. That doesn't happen. Based on political affiliation, that can be the point. Through self-declaration or by conducting a financial audit. So, first point is ruled out. We can have political affiliation also ruled out, because political affiliation is also not something which you'll find in terms of income tax. This point is also out of it. We are learning the area of elimination method. In terms of in terms of income tax, do you file your own return? We file our own income tax return now. So when we are filing our own income tax return, that means in this case, first one thing is clear, that is, it is based upon by conduct through self declaration. You file your own return and they rely on it. Until unless there is a glitch, they will try to contact and will make sure about it. This is through self declaration. Now comes the next point. Oh, the next point says that what is the primary reason for double taxation on the in context of DTAA? ESOPs. That is double taxation on ESOPs. That is employee stock option plans or employee stock option scheme. ESOPs is all the same. Basically, now, what is the primary reason when we are putting the particular area? It is in context with taxation at the time of exercise, taxation at the time of sale, taxation at the time of grant, or taxation at the time of vesting. Acha, exercising is that I have taken up the courses. I have taken up the ESOPs or employee stock option plans, where stocks are available to me at the point of time where I choose. Okay. Sale is when I am selling it to someone else, or grant is when they have given it to me, then they were granting it, but they were giving the option there. Investing is for the period I am holding the ESOS, that I would be eligible after this much amount of time, so I'll wait till that time. So in this case, what would be the answer? In this case, the answer would be exercise. A. Okay? Answer is taxation at the time of exercise. Then comes the next point, everyone. How long an employee can delay paying taxes on ESOPs according to the budget of 2020? So since this was given in the area of Macmillan book, so we are following as per the area. In terms of 2020, how till what level or how long could you delay it? Normally, you can have a delay of maximum 3 years. Sorry, it is actually 5 years. Okay. Then when we talk about ESOPs can be there can be a delay in terms of taxation up to 5 years. Then what is the revised turnover criteria for eligible startups? But startups are also eligible for tax holidays. Tax holiday means up to 5 years, 50% taxation. Up to the next 5 years, there would be no, there is no taxation up to 5 years and then 50% after a certain period of time. Right now, when we talk about ATIC, it says that you can have consecutive no tax in terms of consecutive 5 years. You choose that in the first 10 years, you choose a specific year. From that particular year till the next 5 years, you will not have to pay any taxation. So when we talk about the criteria, what is the criteria for IAC? 25 crores, 50, 75 or 100 crores? What's the answer? When I talk about this area, the answer is 100 crores. For Section 80 IAC, this is 100 crores. How many consecutive years can eligible startups can claim under 80 IAC? 2 years, 3 years, 5 or 10? So in terms of 80 IAC, na, it is not 5 actually, it is actually 3 currently. Okay? Consecutive years means continuous years. If you choose this year, then for the next few years, it can be taken up. Done everyone? This is actually for overall 3 out of 10 years. You have to choose those 3 years where you want an exemption of 100%. And at the same time, under this, you should be having maximum 100 CR of your turnover there. So the answer in this case is 3 years. It is 3 years. Okay? 3 out of the first 10 years of the organization. Okay? And this was basically for all the organizations which were incorporated from 2016 financial year to 31st of March 2021. That means at this point of time, yeah, it has stopped. But ATIAC has covered a lot of organizations, a lot of startups have been able to get this particular benefit. Very. Next question. When we talk about 54 GB, 54 GB is covered under, this is basically based upon the era of income tax again. This is based upon the era of income tax in terms of 54 GB is covered under capital gains. Then at the same time, when we talk about this era, this particular section 54 GB, how I learned it, I can let you know about this. In terms of Hindi, it is actually GB, है ना? I learned it as a घर बेचकर business बनाया. मतलब घर is basically your home. So basically you sold your home so that you can build up your business. Way of learning, there are multiple sections which we have to learn. So matlab in your examination, obviously the number of sections to learn are lesser, but in our area in the field of commerce, you need to know all the sections. So since I had to learn a lot of sections from this era, so I learned it this way. Under section 54 GB, what must be the net consideration for the sale of residential property for be used for घर बेचकर बिजनेस बनाना, यानी आप यू आर सेलिंग your valuables to get a particular business. So basically, what are you getting? The residential property that you have sold, you will buy what out of it? You will purchase a luxury car? No, it is not for investment of gold or vacation of expenses. It is you sold your house so that you can build up your business. So the correct answer is C. It is actually true. Okay. The answer is subscription in the equity shares of an eligible startup. Correct? Now comes the next point. Let's look at it. Here comes the next question. I hope it is visible right now. If it isn't, so let's look at it. To carry forward the business losses in the event of qualifying startup, what conditions must be met? The loss must be incurred within 3 years of incorporation. At least 75% of the voting power must be the same. Then continued 51% of holding should be there for at least 7 years, or there is no condition for carrying forward cost. Carrying forward losses is basically you faced a loss and that is available for the next people as well. You know, so in this case, what are we going to do? In this case, see the original people who were the one who actually faced the loss should be there now. Only then we can cry, Array, we faced a loss at that point of time now, so kindly give us some kind of relief out of it, right? So in this case, what would it be? A continued 51% shareholding or holding the same number of shares for the next 7 years. You should be there in that particular organization for the next 7 years. Only then we can consider ki nahi, this particular organization faced a loss and then we should give them a relief. Carry forward means last year the organization faced a loss of 8 lakhs. Okay, and then they were cribbing about it. This year they made a profit of 2 lakhs. Then say this is the first year, then in the second year they also made a profit of 4 lakhs, and then they faced a loss of 3 lakhs again. So in this case, carry forward is basically whatever loss was there. If you are having a profit, it can be set off against the same. So if you had a minus 8 and now you had used it for 2. So that means you are reducing 2 lakhs. Now this year your profit or loss overall for the income tax department would be 0. So you don't have to pay a penny for that. You can cry ki arey, this year we got 2 lakh now. We have just recovered what we faced last year. So basically in this year we are done with 2 lakhs. We are left with 6 lakhs. Then the organization went for the next year. Then they are in credit. Array, if we have made 4 lakh this year, pata hai, sir, we faced a loss 2 years back. So we are still recovering from the loss. So that means it can cry about the 4 lakh rupees. As soon as it was done, it was like, chaliye, I have taken the benefit of this particular amount. Now we are left with 2 lakh. That is, now when you are left with 2 lakh of loss, you have gained another 2 lakh, 3 lakh of loss. So now your total loss is of 5 lakhs. So in this case, if the loss is of up to 5 lakh, you are answerable towards that point ki, are you still the same organization? If the same organization, same people are still sitting, then they can cry ki pata hai sir, we faced a loss. So we deserve a particular set off or we deserve a particular carry forward because we are still there in the organization and we are deeply hurt by the particular losses that we are facing. So that is help. It is creating a lot of fuss for us as well. So that means technically I can cry about the fact that we faced a loss. But originally, the people who were there when this loss occurred, the same people, up to 51% should be there. Okay? Only then we can say ki nahi, nahi, they have faced a loss and they deserve the particular thing. Okay? Then comes the next point. According to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, notified in September 2020, what is the maximum limit of on deposits that a private startup company can receive from a single person, single tranche through a convertible note? As per MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, have given in 2020 the maximum limit of deposits a private setup can receive. The maximum limit of deposit a private setup can receive is 10 lakh, 25, 50 or 1 CR. What would be the answer in this case? In this case, the answer is 25 lakhs. Everybody who's there in the class, I request you all, please go ahead and let me know about the point there. Right? So if you're there in the class, please let me know. Chale. Now the answer is 25 lakhs. Next question, everyone. This is about initial public. This is related to Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. Seed Fund Scheme is basically what? See, seed is basically seed financing is when there's an idea and we are converting it into a materialistic thing that we are saying ki nahi. With this, I want to grow further my business. So let me know about it. It helps in to provide to establish startups, to offer seed capital for new businesses, to conduct a proof of concept test, to assist startups in obtaining grants from the government, or to support startups in going public through the initial public offer. Primary purpose of Startup India is what? Actually, it works towards the to offer the seed capital for new businesses to conduct proof of the concept test. So in this case, the answer is going to be A, to offer seed capital for new businesses. Okay, it is going to be B. When does easy availability of finance become accessible for startups from angel investors and venture capitalists? See, easy finance is basically immediately upon incorporation. No, they don't come in the very beginning. They are like, especially venture capitalists, they will wait. You have gone something, and then you are saying, for example, Shark Tank India, you go to the particular organization, you tell them, Array, this is our profit, this is the particular organization. I built it. Now my organization is doing well. But now I'm like, this is not it now. I want to grow further. So what can I do about it? So that is immediately upon startup incorporation, after the startup has been in operation for 1 year, after the startup demonstrates a proof of concept, or only after startup goes public. No. When you're looking forward towards angel and venture capitalists, you have to prove your worth. You have to tell them that this business is not something which will not be able to survive on its own. We are strong enough, we can do this. So that's why they would be working upon this, right? So according to them, the answer is gonna be this way, that you will have to after you demonstrate the proof of concept. Shark Tank India says na, sir, show me your particular point. If you're going good only, then we can give you the finances. Then the answer is after the startup demonstrates proof of concept. What are the eligibility requirements for the startup to apply for Startup India Seed Fund Scheme? Must have been incorporated at least 2 years before, or must have been, they must have an idea or have a technology based upon this, or must not be recognized by DPIIT. When we talk about the area of eligibility requirements, now one thing is very much sorted, and that is when we talk about it, it should be based upon technology or a service. Okay, Startup India Seed Fund is based upon helping you in the inception of your business, but your idea should be stronger. No? It should be technology driven. And Startup India, Made in India, Make in India, all these things are coming with this particular concept only, that we are developing India on our own. We are not developing the things other way, but we are developing our own country. So this must have a technology based product or service. Next question. Why is seed capital crucial for startups in the early stages of business? See, how do saplings grow? If I have a particular plant, how does a plant grow? The plant will grow if the particular plant is getting good manures. It is in the beginning of its life, it's getting the nutrients which is required by it. You know? So basically, when you are trying to develop your business, why do we need it? But earlier there were not researchers. Pehle to it was like, I'll make something that people will buy. Because of the industrialization and all, the organizations had become that way. Now they have to sit down and do some research. If I don't do the research, how will I sell goods to you? Now it is related to what's there, to pay off existing debts, or to fund marketing companies, to conduct proof of concept test, or to acquire real estate for office spaces. So this is not the answer for sure. When we talk about the startups now, they are looking forward towards conceptual test and develop the prototypes of it. Because till the time they do not prototype and test those things, they cannot grow further. Seed capital is really very important when you are doing your researches and you want to build up your business. But you have to prove to the world now that your idea is very strong. Someday, when there were the phones when started, there was no need. The need was created. Right now, when we talk about it, there was no need in our country to have the tops and t-shirts, while we had our own attire already. So then it just generated the particular idea, no? But then for that particular thing, they also did a good number of tests and developed the prototypes of it, and people liked it, and then that continued further. So in this case, when we are talking about an organization which is starting itself now, they will always need this part. Okay? To conduct proof of the concept test and develop prototypes. Acha, here comes the question of reasoning and assertion, everyone. Let's look at it. Reasoning says each incubator. What was incubator, everyone? We have talked about incubator and incubatee. Each incubator applying for the Startup India seed fund scheme is required to form evaluation committee. The evaluation committee includes a diverse group of industry professionals to assess and select entrepreneurs for seed funding. Both assertion and reasoning are true, and both assertion and reasoning are true, but reasoning is not correct. Assertion is true, but reasoning is false. Assertion is false, but the reasoning is true. What would be the answer according to you? Incubator applying for Startup India's is required to form an evaluation committee. Yeah, they have to do this, but includes a diverse group of people and select entrepreneurs for seed funding. See, it has a lot of people in the. They have an evaluation company, but it what it includes is not the reason. The evaluation committee is set up to see whether it is fruitful or not, right? It is based upon that particular concept. So I would say that the first part is definitely correct, but the second is not the real reasoning about it. Okay? So in this case, the correct answer would be B. Chaliye, आगे. Now comes the next question. This question says, one of the members of the selection committee is representative of the state nodal, startup nodal team. State government represents play a crucial role in selecting entrepreneurs for the seed fund scheme. When we talk about one of the members is, yeah, basically, na, in every of these organizations, if we do not have the state involvement there, how will we work further? है ना? For working further, we need to really work upon the particular areas, na? Then, so in this case, when we are working towards this area, state government representative play a crucial role. They do. So in this case, I would say the both are correct. Both the assertion and reasoning are true, and the reasoning is correct explanation of this. States have been playing an important role in startups. See, every startup which is coming, it is going to be beneficial for the state itself. Now, it is going to generate a good number of employment. So in this case, both of these are correct. The assertion as well as the reasoning. Okay. Next question. The involvement of the domain experts from academia and industry is essential in selection committee, and then domain experts can provide valuable insights and guidance in terms of startup proposals. So this happens, everyone. When we talk about it na, the both would be correct. Even if I go through the assertion and reasoning only na, you get the answer. Domain experts are what? Matlab, if I am someone who is good with chemical compositions, as soon as you bring up your chemical composition, I check it and I say there are little slight improvements which are required. Why? Because okay, you are making some skincare products or some cosmetics products, and I said nay, their cosmetic products are something which is damaging the skin. So we added a particular thing which we can say was added in terms of skincare as well. So when we were having this, was it as per the standards at this point of time? Was it meeting the particular paraben free or chemical free or those cruelty free products or not? If I have the specific domain idea, only then I can say, na. If I am belonging to the area of income tax or GST, then what I'll do is I will give the idea of from that my domain. If I know from the domain of production point of view, the units, the managing the entire part, then my working would be different. So domain experts are very important. Domain experts are can provide valuable insights and guidance. They can provide the guidance because they have the niche of that particular field. है ना? चलिए. Now, that's it for the day, everyone. I hope this particular session was helpful. But before I end my session, let's talk about our website as well. चलिए, let me show you our website further. If you haven't taken up our courses yet, what you need to do is you need to look forward towards our courses because we have come up with a lot of information there. So we are coming up with our Power Pack batch as well. Let's look at our Power Pack batch. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Officer 24/7. My name is Niharika Walia Bhatnagar and I'm with you with the area of ABFM. Till now, we had been working towards the area of ABFM till the era of startup finance, right? We started with the era of startup finance, in which we have covered a major part. We have covered the basic information starting from the schemes which are there to the next point that we talked about was the era of. Then we talked about the era of schemes. Then we talked about the era of fire and other awards which were there in this era, right? Then we have covered multiple things in this era already. So when we talk about all these areas altogether, that we talk about advanced business and financial management, then today we'll be continuing further. We have also talked about the exemptions in our class as well. The exemptions were of income tax, right? The exemptions were related to the income tax department, right? The income tax has given the exemptions under section 56 to 7B. So this would be working according to this. Okay. Now comes the first question. There is an assertion and there is a reasoning given regarding it. The involvement of domain experts from academia and industry is essential for the selection committee. The domain experts can provide valuable insights and guidance in evaluating startup problems. So, what is correct and what is wrong in this? Both the assertion and reasoning are true, then both are true, but that is not correct, or the assertion is true, but reasoning is false, or the assertion is false, but the reasoning is true. What would be the correct answer? When we talk about the domain experts, they are really helpful in terms of working as these domain experts are going to help us in terms of expertise or niche in that particular area itself. Matlab he has got a lot of importance in his particular area. So that means whenever we are asking him regarding a specialized area, he will turn out to be the most important and valuable person. But yes, they are not people who are from the entire working altogether. They are really working towards only a specific part of it, not the entire part. So that's why one thing is definitely there, that when we talk about these domain experts are limited towards the area that they are working upon. So in this case, what's correct? In this case, both the points are correct. That means domain experts are included and domain experts can provide insights. That is true. So in this case, both the assertion and reasoning are true, and reasoning is correct explanation of the assertion. Okay, here comes the next question, assertion and reasoning. The Startup India Seed Fund Scheme aims to support entrepreneurs who are at the ideation and proof of concept stages. The selection committee composition reflects the need for a diverse set of expertise to evaluate early stage startup proposals. So when we talk about Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, this particular scheme is really helpful towards the area of our are organizations which have just made up. That means this is still in the idea form. They haven't turned into a productive organization or something yet, but yes, it is in the idea form right now. And any organization which is in the idea form right now, then they need money. You know, they need money to start up their business. They need money to do the research on these things as well. So that is why they are looking forward towards the Startup Seed India Fund. It supports all these which are in the ideation and proof of the concepts. The selection committee composition reflects the need of diverse set of expertise. The point is, when we talk about the selection committee will never have one specific person only. Think about it, if there is only the people who are related to the area of the basic studies, then what will happen? The people who are related to only say law, or there is someone who's related only towards the area of the, let's say they are only in the industrial area, so how will we find out whether the particular person is still working well or not? You know, to find out whether the particular person is going good or not, we need to find out whether they are, the organization or that business is totally or overall it is better or not. So in this case, the answer would be both are true, or reasoning is correct explanation, or both assertion and reasoning are true, but reasoning is not correct, or the assertion is true, but reasoning is false. Assertion is false, but the reasoning is true. In this case, the correct answer would be both are true. Both of these are correct. Okay? Now comes the next question. Which of the following is not the step of selection process for startup applying for the seed fund scheme? When we talk about the seed fund, seed is what? Seed is basically the smallest form of plant. है ना? Before the plant comes out, it is in the form of a seed only, which stays below the level of soil. So when we talk about startup organizations, this is something which is below the level only. So when we talk about these kind of organizations, the seed is basically the smallest or the initial level, I would say, in terms of the working. Okay, when they talk about the seed fund scheme now, seed fund is basically helping them in terms of their idea generation, because normally in terms of idea generation it becomes very difficult to find a suitable way of working, isn't it? So that would be the point in this area altogether. चलिए, now let's move on towards the next point. Online application submission on the Startup India Hub, evaluation by the Incubation Selection and Monitoring Committee, selection based on lottery system, detailed review of the startup team business model, and more. When we talk about the seed fund scheme, it is based upon the area of selection based on lottery system. This kind of step is definitely not there. Think about giving an opportunity to start up on the basis of a lottery system. Can we do that? This would mean that the organization is not going towards a scientific way. And if your money goes into the wrong hands, it will cause a lot of problems towards the organizations which are supporting the startup funds. So selection based upon the lottery system is definitely not there. This is something which is not there at all. Acha, now comes the criteria does the ISMC consider when evaluating startup applications for the seed fund scheme? What is the idea that they're looking forward to? Market demand, technical feasibility, and intellectual property. Number of team members, project utilization plan, customer profile, regional location, competition analysis, and revenue projection. Social impact, product uniqueness, and market strategy. What criteria does ISMC consider when they are looking forward towards evaluating the startup applications? See, once you are looking forward towards giving them help now, you will always look at the fact that how are we working on these things? Okay, how are we working towards the entire area altogether? What is our procedure or working towards such an scenario that the because you are giving money to them, ISMC will give them money, it will give them the support they're looking forward to help them grow further into a proper business. So for that, even it has to check now whether the organization has the potential to grow further or not, isn't it? So in this case, what is that particular thing they're looking forward to? They would look forward to the market demand of the product. They will look at the technical feasibility. If I am saying that I will create a magic hoverboard, so hoverboards earlier were not there. Now the hoverboards have been added, but there is nothing like it is flying again against the gravity at a very high place, and you are using it on a regular basis. The cost the is would be very high. How are we going to provide that those kind of products in the market? And I intellectual property. Acha, the if I made something really cool, so I would always try that whatever I have made, that particular product should be patented. For example, if you have seen fidget spinners, the person who created the fidget spinner didn't get it patented. So just because of this, she couldn't get the money of the popular product she created. So that is the problem, that if you create a unique product, you should get it patented. And IPR is basically if anybody else wants to use those particular technologies, those particular things, you will generate business from through that because you will generate money through that. That's the power of this specific area altogether. Okay, so in this case, that would be the point. Okay. Now comes the next pointer. How long does ISMC have to finalize the selection of startups for Seed India Fund after receiving their application? 30 days, 45, 60, or 90? How many days would it take everyone? 30 days, 45, 60, or 90. In this case, they will take 45 days for the startups that are selected. They'll have to start with their working. Okay? They have to finalize their selection within 45 days, whether they have looked forward to the particular person or not. This is good. Even 45 days is around 1.5 months. That means in this case, the clarity will come that whether we are looking forward towards the scenario of giving the particular startup the funding or not. Okay. Now comes how is the seed fund distributed to selected startups for the development of prototype or product testing? What would be the answer? How is the seed fund distributed? How do we give them? Is it in lump sum money or by lottery system or stage tied predetermined milestone or through equity investments. See, the startup fund scheme has been helping all these organizations, but how are they helping? Are they giving them money directly or are they investing in their equity shares? What are they doing? When we talk about angel funds as well as the venture capitalists, both of them are doing this only. If you go through the angel and investment funding, na, you will always find they are giving them money in this way only. Acha, let me just edit this question. This is point D, through equity shares. Okay? What they do is they will release, see, if the seed fund scheme releases the money all together right away, what will happen? If they release so much amount of money all together right away, this would be a bigger problem for them. So to cater this problem, they will create in stages tied to predetermined milestone. They will create milestones that if this milestone is done, this milestone is done, this is done, then we will release this amount of money. So that amount of money would be based upon the scenario there. That means till the time you are done with one milestone, then the next amount would be released, then the next amount would be released. It would be based upon this scenario exclusively. What type of agreement must be made between the incubator and the selected startup before the disbursement of seed fund? A verbal agreement, a handshake agreement. Okay, this is something that we can say this is already out. Verbal agreements are allowed in our country, do you know? But verbal contracts are legal contracts, but the point is who will prove it? The legally binding agreement with the terms of milestones or no agreement is required. According to you, what kind of agreements would be helpful for them ultimately? Go ahead and answer, everyone. Chali, let's look at the answer as well. I hope I'm audible clearly, everyone. Chali, now let's look at the answer. The correct answer here is they are looking forward to what's legally binding based upon milestone. When they are going to release money on this basis, they will make sure that they are not giving you any false hopes as well. When the startups are making their work in this way now, they will make sure that these organizations are able to generate money for sure. But their money generation is based upon the fact that they are done with milestones. You are clearing the first milestone that they talked about, because sometimes the organizations have also been doing frauds. We have got a very good idea, we want to look forward towards the idea, but they are not working on those ideas yet. So what will happen in this case? They will look forward towards the working all together in such a way that their questions and their targets, they are not materializing it. Till the time they are not materializing their targets, the organization will have to wait towards the release of funds. Okay? So that would be really helpful for the ISMC and the startup seed fund scheme, so that every organization which is getting the money is getting because they are generating that kind of flows. Okay? Then what is debt financing in context with startup funding? Debt means loans, selling equity shares in exchange for capital, borrowing money and paying it back to the interest, obtaining funds from angel investors and receiving financial incentives without repayment. When we talk about it, what is debt financing? Debt financing is basically the financing system under which we are saying that we are taking loans from others. And then we'll say, okay, sir, in future we'll give you the money back. In this case, our ownership is not compromised at all. So in this case, the correct answer is borrowing money and paying it back with interest. In equity financing, what do startup change for the capital provided? Collateral, ownership shares, government grants, or promissory notes? In equity financing, what do startup change for the capital provided? Collateral, ownership shares, government grants, or promissory notes? When we talk about equity financing, this is giving up your ownership. Equity means owner. You are giving your ownership shares to the other person. Since you want that you need funds, so you'll say you also become a partner in my organization. So then we are asking the other person to become a part of our organization too. Then what will happen? For the whenever they're providing the capital, we'll say, "Ki, sir, since you are providing the capital to us, we would want that we shall give you the money in this form." Okay. Okay. Now what would be the next answer in this case? The answer here is ownership shares. Next point, which of the following is characteristic of grants in startup financing? They require repayment with interest. Grants can be obtained from venture capitalists. Grants do not involve sharing ownership, or grants are usually provided by the banks. Which of the following is the characteristics of the grants there? They require repayment with interest. See, if you are looking forward towards the grants, there is till the time there is no debt, why would there be such a need? You know? Then grants can be obtained from venture capitalists. Venture capitalists are basically someone who are looking forward towards ownership only. They are like, if I get the ownership of this particular thing, which I feel has a potential to grow further, that would be way better. Grants is basically you are just helping the other organization. You are not trying to get ownership over it. Okay? So we can say there is no ownership transfer. Grants are usually provided by banks. That is not true. Even the governments are also helping others. So in this case, I can say the first is wrong, the second is wrong, third is correct. So grants do not involve the sharing ownership. Okay. So this was the last question for the day. So before we proceed further, I think I have got a few more questions. I'll be discussing that as well. So let's talk about the bootstrapping as well. What do you mean by bootstrapping, everyone? How do we define the term bootstrapping? But there are certain terminologies in finance, like bootstrapping involves boot is basically the money which is given by the person himself. Matlab, that means bootstrapping is boot is basically using your own money in the business. You are not using anybody else's money in your business. They call the money which I would invest is called boot. Bootstrapping is when I am using the money exclusively for my, this is owner's capital. Owner's capital is also called boot. Bootstrapping is basically using owner funds. Okay? We are using the funds of the owners in this case instead of debt. So in this case, this would be the answer. Chaliye. In this case, we are done with the entire portion of this particular Startup India. I think there are still good number of questions that I can deal in this particular area. So definitely we'll look forward towards all these questions. But before I end this particular session, let's look at our website.